Let's go ahead and move on to our next question. This one comes courtesy of our debate co-sponsors here tonight, AARP Maine, and they ask this: the majority of Maine residents want to age in place as they grow older. How will you specifically expand services and supports that allow more older Mainers to live independently in their homes and in their communities? Again, and I want to stress, this is separate from any of the ballot questions that may be out there. They specifically want to know about your ideas to deal with those who want to age in place. And again, our format goes to Janet Mills at this question.
Okay. Thank you for the question, and thank you to the AARP for participating in this debate. It's been a pleasure to work with members of the AARP over the last 6 years in particular in preventing fraud and educating people on how to prevent fraud. I've got a couple of plans. First of all, I'll sign the bonds, the $15 million bonds that have been sitting on Governor LePage's desk for 3 years. The bonds for senior housing, to create more affordable housing and to weatherize many of the units that are already in place, and to make seniors more comfortable and increase their ability to age in place. Also, in my economic action plan, you know, I've got several proposals to help seniors age in place. Age in place grants to willing communities to help make community buildings and residential facilities more accessible so that seniors can stay in place where they are. Targeting infrastructure upgrades for community buildings, and including churches and businesses. And secondly, Launch the Drive Me service to help elderly citizens maintain their mobility through a phone-based ride-sharing program. Those kinds of things I think can help us. I'm pleased that several communities in Maine are already targeting seniors and becoming age-friendly communities, and I want to continue that effort across the state of Maine.
Thank you very much. Same question to Terry Hayes, please.
Thank you, Greg. You know, I have an elderly aunt who lives here in Portland. She lives up at 75 State Street, and she's been able to do that because members of our extended family put together the resources. And we cover 2/3 of the cost of that on a monthly basis, because she didn't have her Social Security retirement. She was a nun for a number of years, and I'm very proud of my family that come together to say, what does she need to keep her safe and where does she want to be? And we've been able to do that because we're a large group. Nobody goes without anything in order to see that she has what she needs. Noon, that's a call out to you. So part of this, and part of what I'm suggesting is, as family members, we may have some obligation to help with this, but we have to focus collectively in the public side on expanding broadband, because that's connectivity. I mean, I live out in Buckfield in Oxford County. It's a lot different than living in downtown Portland. How do our seniors stay connected? Subsidizing transportation that will allow the seniors to be able to get their needs met when they can't walk to get them. And you need to stop me, don't you,
Well,
Greg?
your minute is up, but finish your thought if you wish.
No, and there are several other ideas, but I'll wait and give the opportunity later.
Thank you. Shamba, you have 1 minute as well.
See if I can pick up where you left off, Terry. No, I think our elders, let's say, we've talked to a lot of folks, been on the campaign trail in the county, you know, all around the state, and people have worked hard their whole life, and they end up on a fixed income, or a Social Security, a small pension, whatever it may be. The housing stock is getting older in the state of Maine. We donated space, what was called window dressers. We put window units inside older homes to increase the R value, cut down on heating costs, which is very expensive, you know, for folks living in their home. Another thing that I think is really important, we also gave Meals on Wheels, a vehicle Moody's donated to help elders, you know, get the food that they need. But as well as people get lonely when they're older. It's very important that we have the connectivity with the community to make sure our elders are checked on and have that personal contact and interactivity to help keep their psyche positive. And last, we've got to bring our young people back home to the state of Maine. There are tons of opportunities, employment opportunities here. I'm going to focus on that. What better way to take care of our elders and our seniors, to bring our young Mainers, that former Mainers that left the state in search of opportunity, back and revitalize our communities and take care of our families like we've done for generations.
And so it sounds like, again, to follow up, it sounds like regardless of what happens with question one, there is a statewide ballot question similar to this issue. Regardless of what happens to that, you are all saying that you're committed to at least some efforts when it comes to a very important and growing issue in Maine of aging in place.
Yeah,
that's correct.
There's no question, but I want to be clear on vote no on question one. And we cannot afford another tax increase. We're almost the highest tax state in the nation right now. Property taxes are going up for our seniors. We've got to keep our property tax down so it doesn't force them out of their homes. So yes, vote no on one.
Let's finish. Shannon Mills, are you also no on one?
If you're talking about home health care in particular, let me just say, look, I had the experience of helping take care of my mother-in-law for 3 years. We moved her in when she came down with cancer, and helping with my father before he died, and my own husband, who was ill after a stroke for nearly a year before he passed away. So I know a little something about both aging in place and about home health care. And we're all against question one. We've all said we'd vote against question one. But it's important to look to what we can do. And I'm interested in looking at what the state of Washington is doing, what the state of Pennsylvania is doing, and looking at expanding our home and community-based waiver program to see if we can draw down more federal money to provide more home health care for seniors and people with disabilities now.
And let's let Terry have the final word on this since you asked.
Well, the other piece that I was going to mention is that although we are aging and we want to age in place, we still have many of the people in that age bracket as we get older still have things they want to contribute to the community, and making it easier to continue to involve them. They have an awful lot of wisdom. So just because we're getting older doesn't mean that our value proposition has been expended.
All right, thank you to all the candidates on that issue. The AARP Maine thanks you as well, I'm sure.